We're in Kingston, Ontario for the launch of the brand new Pathfinder.
So Nissan has been on a run lately with some excellent new products like the new Nissan Rogue. Let's see if they followed it up with Pathfinder. Lead fit over here. We're in the all-new 2022 Nissan Pathfinder. Andrea, what is under the hood?
A 3.5-liter V6 engine with a 9-speed automatic transmission. No CVT here. 284 horsepower and 259 pound-feet of torque.
Well done, Nissan.
Well done.
Getting rid of the CVT. You listened. Finally. It took you a while, but you came around.
And I think that most consumers are thrilled about this. Guess what? It doesn't affect fuel economy. It's actually 2% better.
We're going to get to that in just a little while, but right now we're going to get into the key standard features. What do you get with this new Pathfinder?
Here are the base model features in Canada: an 8-inch touchscreen, a 7-inch driver display, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, cloth seats, heated front seats, 10-way power driver's seat with 2-way power lumbar, leather heated steering wheel, piano black interior trim, LED headlights and LED taillights, 18-inch wheels, Nissan Safety Shield 360 including blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert, and 7 terrain management settings.
I feel like I'm back in Ontario, eh? Like I got to talk like this, eh?
Born and raised in Ontario.
I don't know, something about that hoser accent. That's stronger here, that's for sure. All right, what do we have to put it in, Andrew? We've got this big dial. Can we do anything with it?
Yeah, we can. You can put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit the notification bell, you'll be notified when the videos drop, and then you can watch them all.
5 videos a week. We do this, a couple car review every Wednesday afternoon.
On Saturday, we drop another couple car review.
Monday, it's the live show.
Tuesday is always a comparison.
Friday, some cool old collectible car. The only way you'll know when these videos drop is first to subscribe, but also follow Andrea on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea, and for me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below. So we've been driving this for a couple of days now. Andrea, if somebody asked you the first thing you think of when you drive the new Pathfinder, how would you describe it?
I would say it's very truck-like. You know, it has a sporty drive to it, a little bit bumpy, feels like I'm in a truck. And I kind of like that because that's my style of the type of drive that I like. It is not smooth.
Yeah, this is the 5th generation Pathfinder. Years ago, it used to be a body-on-frame truck, and I think they kind of keep a little bit of that essence. So right now, we've just turned onto a road that's a little bit bumpy.
Yeah.
You know what? If you drive in an area with a lot of potholes and not good pavement, you will notice it driving this vehicle.
Yeah, it's definitely bumpy. If you like that truck feel, this is the girl for you.
All right, what about the outside of this thing? I think they did a really nice job. I like the back especially. Is everything going to end up looking like a Land Rover with the script across the back?
I know the feedback I've been getting is Telluride and Range Rover vibe, and that is all true. I agree with you, Zach. I think that they did a great job on this Pathfinder. I like the long front hood. They are inspired by the original Pathfinder, and you can kind of see that with the boxy and rugged design.
So the main thing is the slots on the front of it. They mimicked after the original. But what they've done with this is exactly what they did with Rogue. So the Rogue used to be a smoother flowing shape, same thing with the previous Pathfinder. So what they did was they made it boxier, and it actually makes the vehicle, the overall length, just a tiny bit shorter.
Yeah.
It's the same wheelbase as the outgoing Pathfinder, but a little more upright and boxy. I think it looks better.
Yeah, me too. And the vehicle is wider and higher than the previous model.
And also on the top trims, you get the two-tone with the black roof.
Yes.
A lot of people like that too.
And that's new to this Pathfinder. In the US, you can get 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive options. In Canada, it's standard 4-wheel drive.
Okay, we're going to get into the transmission and everything in a little while because it's our hot topic. A lot of people really want to know about this new transmission. So let's get on to the inside.
I think they've done a wonderful job with the inside. You know, it has a real Rogue vibe to it.
It does.
You know, that center console with the little shifter. Hey, other manufacturers out there who do the dial shifter, you can do a small shifter. I know you can.
Yeah.
And Nissan did a really great job with that. Tons of storage in here. Hey, Zach?
I like the shelf on the dashboard here, a place to put your smartphone. There's lots of little cubbies. There's a floating console here. There's storage underneath. They've really thought every inch of this vehicle out. You can tell that this is an all-new product, and they went through every millimeter and figured what they were going to do with it.
Lots of soft materials used throughout. Very little hard plastic, except in the typical spots, you know, at the door, underneath the center console. But other than that, it's very good. One thing I'd like to mention is in the passenger seat, there is no height adjustment.
Yeah.
I went to adjust my seat when I was in the passenger side this morning, and I just can't.
And this is the top trim. You would think that they would make that available on the top trim. That's kind of an omission.
Now, one up from the base model is where you're going to get the power liftgate and you're going to get the panoramic sunroof. It is different in the US. You do have packages that you add to your trims. The top trim is the only one that comes with captain's chairs. All other trims have the bench seat.
And that's new, by the way, because captain's chairs weren't available in the previous model. If you get the captain's chairs, you also get a removable center console. You pull the panel off the front, reach inside for the release, and it lifts out and it's quite light, and it goes back just as easily. I suspect most people will leave this in the corner of their garage.
Now, what we have picked as our best value trim is 2 up from the base model. It comes with so much. That's where you get that larger 9-inch touchscreen. You get wireless Apple CarPlay, heated rear seats, driver's seat memory, and that's going to cost you an extra 6,600 Canadian from the base model. One other thing to point out is that the 2 base models get piano black trim, the SL gets a silver trim, and the top model gets a bronze metallic brush trim.
So let's get into the screens here. What is the base screen again?
So the base screen is 8 inches, and then you can move up to 9 inches. The top trim gets the 12.3-inch digital driver display. That is the only trim that gets it.
And the head-up display.
One thing to mention is that Nissan has added 2 inches more front row leg room than the previous model, and it's actually best in class now.
Actually, it's a major topic in Question Coffee and Cars. We're going to go through all of that, but we'll touch on the back seat quickly. One thing they've added on all trims is this Easy Flex second row seat. You know what? MDX had it years ago, Acura. It's a button you push on the seat and the seat flips forward.
Pretty convenient for families getting kids in and out. The doors are wider in the second row. Now, it doesn't have a huge third row, but it's well packaged. It doesn't have as much leg room as some of the other competitors, but it does offer 4.7 inches more hip room than the previous model, because guess what? The vehicle is wider and now can accommodate 2 car seats in the back and 3 passengers instead of 2.
Yeah, so you can get up to 8 people now in this, where it used to be just a 7-passenger. The big thing is that they actually hollowed out the second row seat so you can slide your feet under the seat in front of you. That makes a big difference. That ability to just stretch out a little bit makes all the difference in the third row.
When it comes to cargo space, when all 3 rows are in use, there isn't a ton, but Nissan says that you can put 4 golf bags in there.
You can also stack 6 overnight bags, carry-on bags behind there.
And a very large cooler. Plus, Zach, with all of the seats down, you can slide a 4x8 foot piece of plywood in there.
I don't know how often you do that, but it's one of those things. If it can do it, they want you to know.
Yeah.
All right. What else do you want to know? Let's get to your questions and drink some coffee.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Hello, research department. Last time I drove a Pathfinder was about 10 years ago, and I thought it drove way too much like a truck for my taste. How is the ride handling of the new version? Well, about the same. It definitely has a truck feel and is bumpy on uneven pavement.
That we have done some gravel roads on the way up here. It feels very comfortable on those roads.
Yeah.
And I think they've done that intentionally. But yes, it is bumpier than others.
How does the interior space compare against the Highlander? Well, Pathfinder wins in first, third, and cargo capacity behind the third row. The Highlander wins in second row and overall cargo capacity.
But this is very well packaged.
Yeah.
We climbed in and out of all of the seats, and I would say that, everybody's going to be comfortable.
Does it knock off the Telluride as the best third row?
No.
Definitely not. The third row in the Telluride and Palisade is definitely bigger. So I think what it comes down to, if you just need a third row once in a while because you're taking more people, this Pathfinder would be perfectly fine. If you need the third row all the time, Telluride Palisade would be better for you. One of the big features of the Pathfinder is the Easy Flex, where you can tilt and slide the second row seat for third row access even when there's a forward facing child seat installed with latch. In all the videos I've seen, it seems rather jerky and violent. Is it? And does the car prevent passengers from activating the feature while the car is in motion and or when a child is in the seat? This has been a safety issue with the VW Atlas.
Well, we actually went through all of that for you, and
Yeah.
We both tried it with different things. So when there's a child seat in that second row and someone pushes one of the buttons, like from the third row, while the vehicle is in drive, the seat will not move.
No.
It will only do it if the vehicle is in park. However, if it is in park, you could hit the button.
Sure you could. You could have someone who likes to play with buttons in the third row and hit it.
A little kid.
And also, is it violent? No, not at all. I mean, you hit the button and it moves.
Well, it's spring loaded, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it has a purpose. You hit the button and then it springs forward, so it makes it easier for you.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have, obviously, a child seat here and a baby in it. We're past those days, but we did put a bag in there, right?
We did. We put about a 15-pound camera bag and we tried it, and it does move.
Yeah, it does spring forward.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to who's in the third row. Somebody responsible enough to not hit the button.
Yes. Thank you so much for all of your questions. We love engaging with you. Keep them coming.
We keep one question back from Questions, Coffee, and Cars and expand on it. It's our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
The new Pathfinder is really nice and thought out well. I like the new exterior and interior design that Nissan gave this generation Pathfinder. I'm also glad that the CVT is gone as well. How well does the powertrain perform with the new 9-speed automatic transmission?
I would say, first of all, thank you, Nissan, for not putting a CVT in this. It's a big improvement, but it's not perfect. There are times where it stumbles a little bit. First gear in the city is really short. It feels like you go 10 feet and then it's trying to get you to second gear. And sometimes that shift can be a bit abrupt.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Zach. I also find that when I accelerate quickly that there's a little bit of a lag there as well, and slightly jerky.
Okay, so this is a ZF 9-speed box, which is used by other manufacturers, as we've mentioned. The thing is, you buy it off the shelf and then you program it for your particular needs. I would suspect there could be some upgrades they do to this along the way. I would say out of the box, the way they've done a good job. It could be better though.
We've already talked about some of the competition in Questions, Coffee, and Cars, so let's see what else you can get.
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
First up is the Ford Explorer. It has a 2.3-liter 4-cylinder engine with a 10-speed automatic transmission, 300 horsepower, and a starting price of just over $45,500.
Next up, the Hyundai Palisade with a 3.8-liter V6 and an 8-speed automatic transmission, 291 horsepower, and a starting price of just over $41,000.
The Toyota Highlander has a 3.5-liter V6 engine with an 8-speed automatic transmission, 295 horsepower, and a starting price of just under $44,000.
Next is the Honda Pilot, a 3.5-liter V6 engine and the same 9-speed automatic transmission, 280 horsepower, and a starting price of just under $43,000. So there are 4 mid-sized 3-row SUVs for you to consider. So Nissan has made a big deal about offering more value with this Pathfinder. So let's get into the vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. The 2-wheel drive base model in the US starts at $33,410. Four-wheel drive starts at $43,798 in Canada, and the top platinum trim that we're test driving is $54,398. In the US, you can add packages to your trims, but in Canada, it is just the trims. There are no JD Power numbers for the new Pathfinder, but the previous model got an overall score of 82 out of 100 and a quality and reliability score of 83 out of 100. Car Edge states that the Pathfinder will retain 45% of its value after 5 years.
Here's the fuel economy. 11.6 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 9.2 on the highway. That's 21 miles per gallon city, 27 miles per gallon highway. All but the base model can tow 6,000 pounds, and Nissan offers a warranty of 3 years, 60,000 kilometers, or 36,000 miles. Lightning round. Two things you like to see improved.
I like the drive, and I like how well organized and how well thought out the interior is. What I'd like to see improved is a height adjustment on the passenger seat, and maybe an option for a package to get captain's chairs on another trim besides just the top trim.
The first thing I like, there's a 9-speed automatic transmission. The second thing is the price between the lowest and the most expensive is $10,000. There's some value there. What I'd like to see improved, add Android Auto as a wireless feature, not available in this product. And also, one thing that needs to be improved is the 9-speed. They could smooth it out. After that, it'd be perfect.
Well, what more could you ask for? Nissan nailed it with this new Pathfinder. Beautiful, bold styling and a really stunning interior.
So they seem to be on a roll. As we mentioned at the very beginning, the Rogue is fantastic, did a great job with it. Pathfinder follows it up, an excellent job. Next is the Frontier. They're on a roll. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.